my voice is audible. The session got delayed because of, I think, the reason that YouTube and Google was down today. So I hope you guys have been working very hard towards your XAT exam, right? We have been meeting quite often nowadays at 9 o'clock, right? If you have not watched my videos of earlier sessions, I strongly suggest you go back and check them, right? In today's session, we would take up something which is extremely important for almost all the MBA entrance exams that you write, and it's very famous or infamous both, and it's known as Parajumbles, right? So as I did in the previous class, I would quickly tell you some good and bad news both, right? One good news about Parajumbles in XAT is that they have options, right? 5 options, but you have options, which means you have a 1/5 chance of getting it right. Not too many combinations, right, to make, unlike CAT where it's a theta. But again, there is negative marking, so if you get it wrong, very clearly you are penalized. So my suggestion is, if you are thinking about doing the Parajumble questions in that, be careful. Recklessness may not be a good idea, right? All right, very clearly I have been trying to read your chats, but somehow I have not been able to read the chat, so I think I'll have to go blind in this session, right, everyone? Today we have faced trouble in YouTube and Google. I think there were some server issues, but any which way, let's move on. So my name is Krishnendu Dutta, and I have been in this field of mentoring students for almost a decade and a half, and at Gradeup we have been mentoring students for CAT, XAT and other such exams. CAT 2020 batches are on. Students are preparing hard. So if you are targeting CAT, XAT this year, that is 21, and if you were not very sure about your CAT performance and you would like to give it a try, you can always bank upon our guidance, the very best of the team possible for CAT guidance. Moving on, the eternal question. मैंने सुना है XAT में questions tough होते हैं. Eternal questions that I get from students repeatedly, right? I have been told that English is usually harder than CAT, so कैसे होगा? So as I have been dispelling myths in the previous sessions at 9, today also I'll try to do the same. You decide whether they are really tough or not, or whether you can use options and probably get the answers right. The number of Parajumble questions in that is on the lower side, not very high. In the last 5 years, they have been between 2 and 3 usually. So, but looking at the lower score requirement for clearing cutoff in that, it becomes extremely important that you take them very seriously. All right. Now, if you have prepared for CAT once, or if you have taken CAT, or you have prepared for MBA entrance as such, you already know how to go about Parajumble questions. So I would avoid teaching you how to solve them. I presume you know the basic steps. For example, we look for a statement which introduces the idea, but we also look for other things. For example, we can look for some keywords which can be words like pronouns, right? Articles can be great help in finding sentences which can follow each other. For example, a or an and the can be very helpful. The would come typically after you have talked about something already, something like a government report, the government report, right? So you can find the clue there or the sequence. You can look for words that connect, words which are contrasting in nature, right? You can look for words that connect, for example, words like moreover, on the other hand, right? So you can look for such connecting words. You can look for chronological words. So chronological words can be very helpful. If a sentence starts by saying and then, as a result, right, thus, so you could be able to see the connections there. And there are such many things that you can be done in Parajumble questions. These are very basic things that I take for granted that you know. Okay. Now, if you're watching it not live, if you're watching this session afterwards, then my suggestion is when I show you a question, you pause it, attempt the question, and then you go for the solution. All right. So what I'm doing is, because some of you are probably watching me live, and unfortunately I am not able to see the chats here. There is some trouble I'm facing here. So I think what I can do is I would probably pause for about a minute, right? And you attempt the questions, and then you write the answer down. Probably, let's say your answer is A or B or C, and then you match with the solution and see how very quickly and almost with 90% accuracy these questions can be done in XAT. That's the whole idea. All right, so let's move on and look at a XAT previous year question. This question is from recent XAT paper, and it was considered tough. Okay, moderate to tough. So you have the choices here. Have a look at the choices and please attempt the question. I would wait for about a minute for you to solve it. All right, please have a look at it and let's see how it goes. All right. All right, let me see. I can thankfully see the live chats at least. The YouTube I am unable to see, I guess. Let me just try again. No, YouTube I'm not able to, but fortunately I can see the live chat. Abhishek Mohapatra, good evening. Harish, good evening. Yashika, Rupal, Garv, Bitika, and Riddhi. I think you guys can, like, if you have come to watch it on YouTube, you can quickly download the app and you can watch it on the app also, right? That should be more helpful, because somehow today I couldn't really see the chats on YouTube. There's been some problem. Manjusha, good evening. So good to see you guys back, right? You attend sessions probably the entire day, but your hard work would pay. Please have a look, attempt the question, okay? Sonam, hi. Hello, Sonam. Please attempt the question quickly. I hope you can see it, right? So I'll wait for a minute. Please try. Okay, I have the answers. Harish, D for Delhi. Payal, Shivang, I think I'm meeting you for the first time. Manjusha, A, but Suchetan, B. Abhishek Mohapatra, A. Abhishek was there in one of the previous sessions, I remember. Sonam, D for Delhi. This question was considered moderate to difficult, okay? Now, I presume, as I told you earlier, I presume that you guys know the basics of Parajumble naturally. Okay, so let me try the answers. I'll also discuss how during XAT you can eliminate choices very fast, because fortunately we have choices, right? Akshay Avasti, hello. Yeah, Akshay says A, Rupal says A, Shruti A. काफी लोगों ने आंसर्स कर दिए, so I'm glad, right? I was earlier not able to see your chat, so I was almost flying blind, but now I'm glad that I can see what you guys are saying. Bitika, Bombay. Okay, Bitika is saying B. Chalo dekhte hain. Let's try. So I told you that you should look for all the possible clue words. Opening sentence, yes. Clue words, pronouns, connecting words, contrasting words, chronological words, right? Words that extend an idea, for example, moreover, or as I said. So you have to look at all these words and make sure that you find the right connection. For example, the moment I see the first option, it says thus. It should be definitely and strictly controlled in children, as it does no good. Thus. It sums up the entire argument. You agree? Thus. Mat khao fast food. Don't eat. Why? Read all these lines, no? पढ़ लो, that's why. So can I say that the moment I see thus here, it looks like that option P should come at the end, which means I can safely sidestep B and E. Let's not bother about B and E. Time भी कहाँ है मेरे पास? So Manoj, Bitika, you guys see the problem with your answer? है ना? Your answers were B. So I hope you see B तो गड़बड़ है. Now, all I have to now find out is, can I start with Q or should I start with T? Let's start with T. Emotional and self-esteem problems along with chronic illness in later life due to obesity are the issues associated with the junk food. The T option tells us what happens when we eat junk food. Burger खाएंगे तो क्या होगा? And Q देखते हैं, what is Q saying? Q says regular junk food intake can lead to physical and psychological issues among children. Physical and psychological issues. I would talk about what kind of physical and what kind of psychological issues later. No, first I'll tell you खाने से नुकसान क्या होता है. What are the नुकसान? What are the problems of eating junk food? Because you can see they are talking about physical problems here in S, and in R physical problem, and then in T they are talking about psychological problems. T is an example of psychological problems, but it should come later. First you should talk about physical problems. You agree? That means I'm pretty sure that I can't start with T, which means my answers are not C and D, and I have to end with P. So what's my answer? A. How much time? 1 minute? 90 seconds? But doable, you agree? Right? This is probably from the previous three year paper. All of you get that? You agree? Yes or no? No problem at all? See, I'll tell you, I'll repeat. I have been doing it at 9 o'clock every single day for the last couple of days. Let me quickly tell you guys, XAT exam is a smart exam. It is not tough, badnaam zyada hai. Okay? It is pretty smart. If you do your questions smartly, getting, based on previous year papers, getting about 35 to 40 marks, which is the cutoff required for auxiliary with sectional cutoff, is absolutely manageable. Okay? Manageable. I don't teach quant because I'm not good at it, honestly speaking. Not great actually, average. And I write that very frequently. I sometimes cross the cutoff in LRDI quant and sometimes miss it by 2-3 percentile points here and there. But what I see is that if I look at the questions in quant LDI and analyze questions, even with my limited abilities, I'm able to get good enough number of questions that I can solve. Same is true with English also. If you are good at quant and LDI, push up your marks there. Save yourself in English. Just get the cutoff. You can do that with smart work. It is pretty doable. You get that? Yes? You agree? Bitika, very good. If you're watching the videos, I'm pretty sure you would get some help. I'm pretty sure about that, right? Because I'm telling you what I practice and not just theory, right? It's all practice. All right. Try the same in the next question, guys. Try the same in the next question. Here is the question. Please try. Hello Kostav, welcome. You have joined a little late, Costa, though we got delayed today to start the session because of technical issues. Today Google and YouTube has been giving us some problems, right? But Costa, if you are coming for the first time, my suggestion is please be bang at the appointed time. We start the sessions on time always, except emergencies, right? All right, let me see the answers. Garv says Delhi, Manjusha Calcutta, Shivang says Delhi. Okay, chalo dekhte hain. Let me wait for 10 more seconds for others to answer. Yashika, Delhi. Okay, Yashika. Yashika has also been fairly consistent. You come in the class pretty regularly. Abhishek is also consistent. D for Delhi. Sonam is definitely consistent. Rahul, Delhi. Okay. Oh, this is a smart class. Right. Let me tell you guys, if you have screwed up your CAT this year, especially in verbal, you may have done it primarily because you got panicky. Because the paper, I have solved all 3 slots. My slot was second, so I solved that obviously, but I also solved the slot 1 and 3rd. I in fact took the 3rd slots analysis also. Every slot was almost equally distributed in terms of difficulty of the questions. And if you did not lose your mind and if you did not panic, you could have easily managed to get a decent percentile. It was absolutely doable paper, percentile wise, not scoring very highly, but getting percentiles for IIMs was absolutely manageable. Yes. So Costa, you have joined. I would take classes there, right? So we can connect there. Don't worry. Abhi class try kar lo. Okay. And I would make you work very hard, don't worry. Payal C and Rupal Delhi and Manish Mehta Delhi. Chalo dekhte hain. Let me ask you guys, can we agree that P is an example of an influencer? This we can figure out, yes or no? P is an example of an influencer. हाँ ना बता देना मुझे बस, हाँ कि ना. Surbhi's Instagram profile has 1.4 million followers. Definitely. So if P is an example of an influencer, तो ये किसके बाद आएगा? ये T के बाद आ सकता है, because it's the example of T. That means T and P will come together. So where is TP at the end? In 3. So B and E are out. Agreed? And what is the paragraph's main idea? That political parties nowadays use social media platform to influence. That's the main idea. उससे से शुरू करना है. को तो किससे शुरू करेंगे? We have to start with S, no? We can't start with Q. Why? Because Q says in India, reports suggest that WhatsApp. These are examples of companies. This is not the main idea of the paragraph. You can't start with Q. So very clearly, B is also out. B was already out. C is also out now. And E was already out. So I am left with A or D. Now, it's very easy to decide. Political advertisement on social media comes in many forms. Now, if it says many forms, what should I talk about next? Q talks about the examples of social media companies, whereas R talks about political campaigns pay social media companies to promote content. So should I say RQ or should I say QR? Should I talk about media houses and then their examples, or example first and then the point? ये तो पढ़ा होगा. We always talk about the point first and then example later. So I want an answer where T and P come together, R and Q come together, and we start with S. So what's my answer, guys? Makes sense? 1 minute? Pretty doable. You cannot complain. ये बहुत मुश्किल question है. In last 3 years, that has been asking about 2, sometimes 3 Parajumble questions, if I remember correctly. Okay? कर लोगे आराम से यार, आराम से हो जाएगा. No problem. You can do that. You can clearly see you can do it. आराम से कर सकते हो. एक मार्क इन दैट, आई एम टेलिंग यू, राइट दैट, यू रियलाइज एक मार्क पे मजा आ जाता है कसम से. योर परसेंटाइल गोज अप लाइक एनीथिंग, 1 mark. You don't realize it right now. Correct? Because in XAT a lot of people go with such mindset कि XAT है तो पता नहीं क्या होगा and they screw up the entire paper. Correct? You don't do that. Be smart, be choosy. If you can't do a question, leave it. We are not married to a question, no? We can always just break up and move on. We'll be like, thank you so much, it didn't work out. Let me move on. All right, try this again. Now this question was considered difficult and I purposefully chose this question. मैं जानबूझ के question लेके आया just to show that sometimes you would come across a question where you have to ask yourself, छोड़ दूं क्या? Try this for a minute, फिर बात करते हैं. Okay, try. That's what Sonam, that's the belief I want you all to have. आराम से होगा, बढ़िया करेंगे. Okay, Yashika has answered. So I've got D, C, C, E, B, E, C. Okay. Okay, Suchetan is changing his answer. So far I have got C, E, B. Okay. Okay, I'll wait. A bhi mil gaya. Now you can see very clearly different people have different answers. Somebody is answering E. I have got A, B, E, C. सारे answers आ गए. All. Okay, I'll wait. All right. So let's try the questions. Right. Bitika will skip. Arpit says E. Okay. All right. So far I have got, देखता हूँ आंसर्स क्या क्या हैं. I have got, अरे बाप रे, all sort of answers I have received so far. Okay. I have got A, which is 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. I have got B, 5 से शुरू कर रहे हैं. Right. Now third, I have also received third, 3, 5, 2, 1, 4, and so very clearly the class thinks that all possible combinations are correct. Why? Because you would notice that you would not be able to find very clear-cut markers in this question. Which one is talking about what, or which one would follow which, is not very clear here, right? But there are some clues. For example, option 1 says it is less appealing but morally more urgent to understand the actions of the perpetrators. It is less appealing, and it talks about perpetrators. So this should come after you have talked about perpetrators, right? Second says it is easy to sanctify policies or identities by the deaths of the victims. And then one says it is less appealing but more urgent. So you can see second says it is easy to sanctify policies or identities by the death of the victim, and second says it is less appealing. So probably you can start connecting. You can see fourth says the moral danger after all is never that one might become a victim, but that one might be a perpetrator or a bystander. The moral danger, right? So a lot of combinations can be seen here, right? So let me see. I think mostly people have said the answer is C. So let me start with C. All right, just give me a second. Let's start with C. Third, the victims were people. A true identification with them would involve grasping their lives rather than grasping at their death. The victims were people. Starting very nicely, introducing the idea, and it also is in past. The victims were people. Makes sense? A true identification with them would involve grasping their lives rather than grasping at their deaths. Makes sense. So let's start with third, which means my answer can also be D, because I think one or two of you have said D also, right? Then let's go to 5. By definition, the victims are dead. The victims were people, and we were talking about their deaths. And by definition, the victims are dead and unable to defend themselves from the use that others make of their death. And then 2 says, it's easy to sanctify policies or identities by the death of the victim. Means it's easy to make policies or identities which are made right by the death of these people. But then you say, but the less appealing but more important part is to understand the actions of the perpetrators. Why? Because the moral danger after all is never that one might become a victim, but one might become a perpetrator. Now these two lines are very important. Option 1 says it's more urgent to understand the actions of the perpetrators. हम कहीं perpetrators ना बन जाएं. So question is, तो tension क्या है? Problem क्या है? Why should I worry about understanding the actions of perpetrators? The answer is so that we don't become perpetrators. We become victims, not a problem, but don't become a perpetrator. So very clearly I have a combination 1-4 here. Now look closely everybody. Do you see 1-4 anywhere else? So even if I could find that 1-1-4 combination where we say it's very urgent to understand the actions of perpetrators because we might become a perpetrator, I can still solve the question. Did you follow this everyone? I'm pretty sure quite a few of you would like to change your answer. Nihal, Garv, Yashika. Yashika, I think you answered D for this question, right? Akshay's answer is C. Manoj, yeah. Got it, Manjusha? Very good. Alright, let's be quick. We started the session a little late, as you know. So I would extend it by 5 minutes. Let me see if I'm left with any question. Are baapre. This looks horrendous. Urupal, yes, you can take the risk if you can find at least 2 combinations which can help you eliminate. Otherwise, don't take. Otherwise, don't take. It's a wastage of time. Otherwise, okay. Now, this is a very huge question. Garbar kar diya kya dekhe? I don't know. Take a minute, people. Solve it, please. Jaldi se. Save my labor, mehnat. Okay. Here you go. 1 minute. Okay. I have started getting answers. Very good. All right. Nihal says A. Suchetan says C. All right. I'll wait for 30 more seconds. There's a marriage ceremony going on outside my apartment, and I'm getting distracted, okay, because of the noise. I hope you guys are not able to hear the dhol that is being played outside. Are you? Let me know, because I'm highly distracted because of the sound. So just let me know if you can hear it, then probably, next time I'll just go out and start dancing. That's better. No, I'm wearing a noise cancellation kind of thing, but I don't know how effective that is. It's okay. Yeah, Costa says okay. That's nice then. But I am distracted because I honestly feel like going and dancing. They're playing very well for sure. बहुत मजेदार बजा रहे हैं. So let me see the answers. D, A, B. Arpit, probably next time, because I've run short of time today already. ठीक है. अभिषेक बॉम्बे. तो अभी आंसर्स क्या क्या मिल गए मुझे? A, B, D और C किसी ने नहीं बोला. B बोला है. Vineet Kumar is saying B. Akshay is saying Bombay. Bithika is saying A, B और Roy Suchetan is saying C. सारे आंसर्स मिल गए. This is a 60-second questions, everyone. 60 seconds question. Okay, I'll stop after this. Let's be quick. Can we all agree that the answer should start with third? Scientifically, the hyperspace theory goes by the name of Kaluza-Klein. I don't know कैसे pronounce करते हैं. Kaluza-Klein theory and supergravity. Because I know one says, but its most advanced formulation is called superstring theory. They are bound to come together. 3 and 1. You agree? Right? 3 and 1 will come together because it says its. So 3 and 1 comes together means my answers are either 1 or D. And then 4 will come after this. Why? Because 4 says the usual 3 dimension of space and 1 of time are now extended by 6 more spatial dimension. How do I know that? Because 2 says, however, the theory has already swept across the major physics research laboratories of the world and has irrevocably altered the. It's a very long passage, so I'm not reading. Okay, let me quickly write the options. So can we start with third? Scientifically, the hyperspace theory goes by the name, but it's. So 3 1 साथ आएगा. ये दोनों तो साथ आएंगे. Correct. Now, but the most advanced formulation is called superstring theory, which even predicts the precise number of dimensions 10. Fine. Then let's put 4 because option A or D दोनों में 4 है. However, the theory has already swept across the major physics laboratories, blah 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 blah. Then I have to decide whether it is 5-2 or 2-5. इसी में आधे लोग फंस जाते हैं. 5-2 या 2-5, right? So let's try 5-2 first. 3-1-4 तो ठीक है. 5 says we caution. No, my mistake. Just a second. हाँ ठीक है. We caution. I think I read the second statement. Just a second. हाँ. 3-1 will come together. Then 4. 4 is the usual 3 dimension of space and 1 of time are now extended by the 6 more spatial dimensions. Yes. 3-1 and then 4. Then 5-2. Let's try 5-2. 5 says we caution that the theory of hyperspace has not yet experimentally confirmed and would be exceedingly difficult to prove in the laboratory. And then 2 says, however, the theory has already swept across the major physics research. Now think about it, guys. Option 5 says that अभी तक ये साबित नहीं हुआ है. अभी तक ये साबित नहीं हुआ है. And second says, however, the theory has already swept across the major physics research laboratories. Should I say this or should I say this? D में, if I try 2-5, let's see what happens. 3-1-4 are okay. 2 says however. If I say however after fourth, then I am contrasting it after fourth, which does not make sense. One more clue. Option 5th says we caution that the theory of hyperspace, the entire name is present here. Look at option 2. However, the theory, they're not even mentioning it. When do you use the article the? When you are talking about something specific, when you have mentioned already earlier, right? Like saying I have a car, the car is black. So you get the point here. So let's put it again. We start with 3 because it's talking about hyperspace theory. A says it's, so very clearly comes later, right? And then 4 is a huge one. Sorry, 3 second is a huge one. Fourth, usual 3-dimensional space, vagara vagara vagara. And then I have to decide 5-2 or 2-5. That's it. 5 says the theory is not proven yet, but second says however it has already made a lot of noise in the world. That makes more sense. Or however the theory has made a lot of noise and it is not proven. Which one will create better contrast? साबित नहीं हुआ, धमाल मचा रहा है. धमाल मचा रहा है, साबित नहीं हुआ. You would rather say धमाल मचा रहा है, however अभी तक साबित नहीं हुआ है. You would say it has not been proved, but it is sweeping across the world. Get the point? So which one should be the correct answer? 5-2, 5 के बाद 2 because it says the theory. You get the point? And here the entire theory is mentioned. So we talk about the fact that we caution that we have not proved it. However, contrast, the theory has already swept the world. Very clearly, 5-2 makes much better choice. You get the point? So can I say the correct answer would be A, right? I am highly distracted today because of the noise outside. Okay. But anyways, guys, I hope you could follow, right? I would stop it here today. Let me just take 30 more seconds. You have done enough practice for CAT, I'm sure. Apply the same logic, but remember that Parajumble questions are much more doable because these questions also have options, right? And if you can use these, you would be able to do the 2 or 3 questions that are expected very easily, right? Keep on practicing. Practice from old papers, practice from old CAT papers. There are a lot of sources available on internet, and you can also download the app at Gradeup. You would get material there, you would get more classes, free classes, and you can also join the verbal ability and decision making course that is going on at Gradeup. I'll see you again probably tomorrow, right, with more interesting questions. I'll see you. Thank you, everyone.